Hi, you hungry? You want to eat? You hungry?
Hi everybody. Today we are making pot stickers. They're ridiculously easy to make. The only thing is it's a little time consuming because you can't just make like one or two just to eat. You just need to make a whole bunch. But luckily it's really easy and it's pretty straightforward. The key to good pot stickers is obviously starting with ground meat. Right here we have ground pork, but you can have ground turkey, you can have ground beef, you can have ground chicken. I would say if you're using something like ground turkey or ground chicken to amp up the flavors and add more seasonings because they have a little less flavor. Once again, in my sort of I don't really need recipe type of thing, you can use whatever kind of seasonings, Asian style seasonings you want. So what I have here are my preferences, but there are things that you can use. So we have soy sauce, we have Chinese chili paste, we have nuoc mam, which is Vietnamese fish sauce, and we have sesame oil. And also some of the aromatics that we have are garlic, ginger, and then to add a little bit of freshness in there, green onions. And then to bind it all together, 2 eggs. I've got 2 pounds of meat here, and the one measurement I will give you is per pound of meat, 1 egg. So, because we have 2 pounds, 2 eggs. So why don't we get started? The first thing to do is to chop up the scallions. All of this is chop and dump, pour and dump in there. My favorite meal is not breakfast, not dinner, not lunch, not breakfast or dinner, but dim sum. And dim sum is a distinct meal. So for the ginger, it's kind of woody, so you want to pulverize as much as possible. And what I do is just go through this like, you know, mini grate thing. I don't know, but I think it's called a rasp. And just, you know, if you have like a knob of it, just pulverize it that way. And then knock it off. And I don't know, I wish you could smell this because the ginger is strong. And then you've seen in the last episode, my patented cut and shove on the cutting board. So then all we need to do is start dumping things in. First the eggs. And here's a little environmental tip for you. Eggshells are compostable, so make sure that, you know, if you're able to compost, keep them in your compost pile. So now I'm putting in the seasonings, and this is just to taste. And as a guideline, I would do about, per pound of meat, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce per pound of meat, so I'm doing 2 tablespoons here. About a tablespoon for the 2 pounds of nuoc mam. And this is really based on what level of spice you like. I like it spicy, so it's going to be about a tablespoon of chili paste. And then the sesame oil. Sesame oil is really strong, so you just need a shot. And in this case, 2 shots. So, and then all you have to do is mix it up. I don't like dirty hands, so I'm using a handy spoon and it works perfectly. So, but I think one of the great things about pot stickers is they freeze beautifully. It's in the freezing beautifully part of the cookbook. Steel Magnolia's quote there. But they freeze really, really well, and they keep forever in the freezer. And you know, once you've made your, 75, because this really makes 75, you can just pull some out and are good to go after that. So, just make sure that you make plenty, and then it's almost like making your own frozen food. It's really nice that way. So, as you can see, and I really wish we had smell-o-vision, but it's really strong. The sesame oil, the ginger, the garlic, the soy, it's all really, really aromatic, which is great, which is really, really great.
What do we do next?
So, now that this is all prepared, we're gonna go move to the living room for assembly. Assembly, super easy. Have 2 spoons. Get your meat mixture all ready to go. Give it a final stir. And then put a good tablespoon in there. Not much more. You don't want this to be overfilled. Nobody wants an exploding pot sticker. That's for sure.
What are you putting it in?
It's really good to get the round gyoza skins. They are about 2 millimeters thicker than regular wonton skins, and they have a tendency not to fall apart when they're being pan fried in pot stickers. So gyoza skins, and it's super duper easy. So put your dollop of meat in the middle, brush on half of it, and squeeze. Just make sure there's no air holes. No air, just squeeze it out. And you have got a tasty pot sticker. I really like to make sure they're frozen before I pan fry them, because then they have a tendency not to fall apart. But you just keep on repeating, and at this point I will be repeating about 75 times.
So when you end up married to someone, or when you marry someone, or when you're with someone who cooks a lot, it's good to learn how to do sauces and side work. So that's the part I do a lot in the kitchen, because while I love to cook, TC is very proficient and very organized when he cooks. So I'm able to sort of be on the side and get things done with him. So what we like to do when we have pot stickers or dim sum is we make a dipping sauce. It's actually a gyoza dipping sauce, and if you have the internet, which you probably do if you're watching this, you can look up the difference between pot stickers and gyoza and look up dim sum as well, if you don't already know. But we make this sauce and we use it for all 3. So all you need is a little soy sauce. We happen to use kikkoman. Rice vinegar, which is amazing to use. We use that for a lot of things as well. And some Thai chili sauce. This happens to be made from dragonfly, which is not actually made out of dragonflies, but it's called dragonfly. But you can use whatever Thai chili sauce. It's also called sweet chili sauce that you'd like. And sometimes we put a little bit of sugar in. We'll put a little bit of that today. We'll talk about variations as we go. So for the soy sauce, I like to put about 3 tablespoons in. Again, some people like this a little bit saltier. Some people like this with a little bit more vinegar. It's very forgiving. So these are just the core ingredients, and you can work from there. The rice vinegar, again, look it up. There's some really great recipes with rice vinegar if you're not already using it on a regular basis. I put just about 2 tablespoons. It's a little bit less than the soy sauce. Some people like a little bit more. And then there's the Thai chili sauce, which you can use this actually on its own if you want to dip pot stickers in it or dim sum or whatever. But it happens to be really nice in this sauce. It gives a little bit of heat and a little bit of sweet at the same time, just like me.
Aww.
So that's about 1.5 tablespoons. Again, so once you mix this up, I happen to like whisks, so I will use the whisk to mix it up. Once you mix it up, you might taste it and realize, oh, it needs a little more salt, a little more heat, and you have pretty much all the taste you want to work with right here. I happen to know the recipe really well, know that we like just a pinch of sugar, not very much, put a little bit in there, and there you go. So there's also a few variations we could talk about. One is to use sriracha, which is a bottle of Vietnamese hot sauce, or that's what we use it for mostly. Has a rooster on the bottle, red bottle, green top, can't miss it, it's fabulous. And then the other thing you might want to do is put a little sesame oil in. It also makes it just a slightly more interesting, more complex flavor, but this is the basics. So you've got your rice vinegar, your soy sauce, your sweet chili sauce, and a pinch of sugar, and then you'll be done.
Okay, through the magic of television, we've got 78. We squeezed in another 8 suckers. One thing to know is make sure that they don't touch, because if they freeze and they're touching each other, they're going to be hard to pry apart, and so that's why we put them in cookie sheets. But basically, put them on a cookie sheet lined with wax paper and putting them in the freezer right now. The thing with pot stickers is you want to kind of pan fry them first in the oil until they're nice and toasty. You want to get them brown on one side, and then once they're brown on the other side, you flip them over, put a little water in, and then you cover it and steam it. So once again, using my handy dandy tongs, just like I always do. And this is going to take about, this pan frying isn't going to take too long, maybe 2 or 3 minutes at most. Always good to have a wok, but if you've got something like this, like a shallow saute pan that you can cover with a lid, then that's always good too. So let's check these, see how they're doing. See, that's what you want. That's kind of like the nice roundness that you should expect out of your pot stickers. So you may want to, depending on where the hot spots are in your pan and stuff like that, you may want to move them around so that all of them get the love, all of them get the brown love. So look at that. It's kind of pot stickery on that side. That's what you're going for. So let's flip these suckers over, and then you turn the heat to low. Add a little bit of water. Not a lot, maybe like 2 or 3 tablespoons. And then turn it down, all the way down. See how it's steaming? Put the lid on, let it steam for about 15 minutes, and then it's good to go.
The pot stickers are ready along with the dipping sauce. Have a look. TC's pulled them out of the fryer. They look really fabulous. And it's very simple. If you're not familiar with dipping, you take your chopsticks, dip it in, take a bite.
How's it taste?
Potstickery.
I'm sticking with you, 'cause I'm made out of glue. Anything that you might do, I'm gonna do too. You held up a stagecoach in the rain,